India's massive payment story is still being written. Digital payments continue to surge with a year-on-year transactional volume growth of 42% last year, which is poised to grow by 3 times in the next 5 years. According to PwC, the industry added more than 16 million credit cards in FY24, crossing the milestone of 100 million cards in force. Yet, and despite also the dominance of UPI, more than half of transactions remain cash-based, and only 55 million Indians hold a unique credit card. Visa, with its global network and deep India presence, is betting that the future lies not in card versus digital, but in interoperability, security, and consumer trust. At the ET World Leaders Forum, the Economic Times editor South, Archana Rai, sat with Rajat Taneja, President of Technology at Visa, who oversees the company's global tech infrastructure, AI systems, and cybersecurity stack, among other things. A former Microsoft and Electronics Arts executive, Rajat has spent the last decade trying to shape Visa into a technology-first payments company, with India, of course, playing a central role. Visa's largest R&D hub outside of the US is here. Rajat said that it has powered innovations like tokenized credentials, biometric authentication, and AI-driven fraud management. Two of my favorite questions that this conversation tackles: how is Visa trying to reimagine payments in India's unique card digital ecosystem? And can AI and agent commerce reshape how Indians shop, pay, and protect themselves in a fast digitizing economy? Listen on, it's Thursday, the 4th of September. I'm Anirban Chaudhary. This is the Morning Brief.
Hello to everybody, and Rajat, thank you so much for joining this conversation. I think we've had some sessions where a lot of discussion has gone on about services and products that require a lot of spending, right? So we've had people discuss food, luxury clothing, all of which I think have to do a lot with aspirations, and definitely also with payments. And so it makes you understand why India is being seen as, a market where there's a huge trillion-dollar opportunity for payments in the coming years. So I thought we could start with you telling us, how do you see Visa in this?
Absolutely. The market, it's not a zero-sum game. All of us have one goal, which is to electronify payments. And India is still about 55% cash. There are only about 110 million credit cards, only 55 million of them are to unique individuals. And what we have been doing at Visa over the years is we've also opened up our architecture, and we have a set of services that are disaggregated and can connect to networks like UPI and RTP systems, create interoperability between RTP networks, but also we can collectively obsess about the experience of the consumer and protect the consumer from scams, from impersonations, from account takeovers, which is a very big issue right now. And so our risk systems, our fraud systems, our dispute management systems, all available to add on to the payment networks. They are network agnostic. We also have capabilities that merchants can use to manage risk, chargebacks, to have analytics, to connect to multiple gateways together. We have services for the banks to do similar sorts of things. Our cybersecurity stack is available, and these cybersecurity capabilities that we use to protect them at Visa are also available to the marketplace.
So I think essentially what strikes consumers, say, in a market like India, where now the mobile phone is almost literally the primary mode of payment.
Yes.
How would you define the future of cards? How do you see this?
Look, cards are just a form factor, but really think about it as a modern credential. And what we have been doing is we have been reimagining what the credential looks like. instead of everybody carrying multiple different credentials, we thought, how can we create a permanent single credential, let's say a 16-digit number, that overlays however they want to pay, whether it is through debit, through credit, through installments, and they can choose it by type of merchant, type of location, type of products they are buying, and it is tokenized. So it gives them security, it gives them peace of mind, it gives them knowledge that there is a trusted third party who will take care of it. And when you have that, OTP is no longer needed, right? OTP can actually be compromised. So things like biometrics and passkeys and one-click checkouts are the sorts of innovations we have been building to ensure this interoperability of experiences, remove the friction, protect the consumer, and move past OTP with biometrics.
What is the role that you think AI will play?
Look, AI has been a fundamental part of the fabric of fraud management, risk management for decades. You know, our first model, the AI model that we released at Visa, was back in 1993. What we are now seeing emerge with the birth of generative AI is a completely different ballgame. With generative AI, for the first time, you have sort of intelligence emerging from these models that it is able to do things it wasn't trained to do. So there are a couple of things that are going to happen with generative AI. One, you can imagine a world where each of us has a digital twin that knows us deeply and understands us and can do commerce activities for us or bring to us the things that we enjoy and we delight in and is our passion.
Absolutely.
At the same time, on the back end, it is protecting you and doing all the other things that we just talked about. In order to do that, you need a platform that creates AI-ready credentials that enables transparency and privacy and compliance and ensures that the agent is only doing what you need it to do. And the personalization signals that it gets are not just based on user opting in, but also they're trained with fairness and with openness and with compliance to all the rules and regulations. So we are working a lot on the platform, and then a lot of wonderful things will happen on top of that. Thousands of flowers will bloom if you have the underlying platform.
And a lot of this work is getting done out of India, is what you've been telling me over the conversations we've had about this. And, you know, there is this conversation about India lagging in the AI race and our talent not really being up to speed with the innovation that is happening in other markets. But you've been telling me a story that's different, that a lot of this innovation gets done out of India.
Yeah, that couldn't be further from the truth. The talent in India is extraordinary, world-class. So at Visa, we have our largest R&D center is actually in India. And this month, we celebrated 10 years since we opened it for the first time. So Flex Credential that I talked about was conceived of, was piloted and created locally along with colleagues across the world, but it was born here in India, first for the Japanese market. We are rolling it out in Europe, and then we'll be bringing it to India very soon.
So in terms of innovation, definitely India is very present in the Visa landscape. So I thought we could just move a little beyond that and think really of the regulatory landscape here for payments. Do you think there is a need for a specialized regulator here?
Look, we do need to collaborate very closely with regulators, right? AI is evolving at a speed and pace and capability that has never happened in the history of the world before, right? And in the history of the world, there isn't an example of a less intelligent thing managing a more intelligent thing. So now is the time for us to make sure with regulators that we have openness and understanding of how models are trained and their behavior and governance and drift management, privacy and consent, explainability, fairness, remove the biases, and have a mechanism for ensuring they don't do harm in the future and do really good things across the world as we rewire it with generative AI, whether it is in medicine or in agriculture or in education or, of course, in commerce, the space I love very much.
In India, digital financial inclusion has been a big aspect, right? And really, in many ways, UPI, I think, has really made that democratic. But there's also of digital empowerment that there's another aspect to that as well. How do you see that as, that entire landscape?
It's
Can
very,
India
it's
move?
very close to our heart. Doing good by doing right. We have enormous focus on not just giving grants, but actually working in the front lines with government agencies, with NGOs. We've adopted 1,000 villages over here. I think 50,000 members of the community have been trained on financial inclusion. We have worked with the Travel Council to train about 20,000 individuals over there. We are building a program with RRU in Gujarat to roll out our cybersecurity capabilities and expertise to create a cyber certification from Visa for members of the community who want to specialize in it with our knowledge, our training, our curriculum. Our cybersecurity, for example, is one of the great assets at Visa, and we want to take it to the colleges, and we want to take it to the community and broaden the use of those practices and inventions. So across the gamut, we want to work in this area.
Again, going back to what people can expect in terms of a new mode of payment, there's agentic commerce that's being seen as the next wave of innovation. How will that translate into real-life experience?
Look, it will evolve in many ways. And what agentic commerce promises to do is to bring the era of self-driving, where you may want it to go somewhere and do something, and you can empower it however much you want, and say, I like art, or I like music, or I like fashion, or I want to buy electronic equipment for my house, a TV. Go find this stuff, do this stuff, and then let me make the final choice. Or if it knows you well enough, you can empower it to do those things. And agentic commerce has the ability to enhance that and take all the crummy stuff out. The warranty management, the price matches, the registration, the incidents, the return aspects, the dispute management, and say, hey, I'll do that for you. And so that's the promise, but it needs a platform, it needs compliance and regulation, and it needs trust, and that's kind of what we are focused on. I've never been this excited in my life as to what it can do and what we are building every day, how it can serve merchants, consumers, and economies, and society.
Before we wrap up, I definitely use this opportunity to get you to tell us what are the 3 do's, what are the 3 don'ts while we all shop.
Well, first of all is be careful when you're shopping with merchants that you don't know. There's a lot of merchants that get set up that might scam you. Decide how you want to pay, credit, debit, or installments, and make sure it's done responsibly when you work with them. And if you have an issue and you're using a Visa card, no, we are behind you and we'll protect you if something happens.
Sure. Thanks so much.
So payments are more about trust, security, and empowerment than they are about cards and apps. It's a dynamic space, constantly evolving and grappling with challenges from security to geopolitical switcheroos. The future of money is now. It'll be interesting to see whether India is part of this future. This episode was produced by me and sound designed by Rajat Taneja. The Morning Brief drops every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday on a listening platform of your choice. Also, don't miss our new show, Corner Office Conversation, where we talk to the most interesting business leaders from India and the world. Every alternate Monday, wherever you get your podcasts. Keep listening.